So, who is Adam Butler? Mr. Adam O'Neal Butler was born April the 12th, 1994. He is an American football defensive tackle for the New England Patriots of the National Football League. There we go. Butler attended Duncanville High School in Duncanville, Texas. He was a two-time captain of the Duncanville Panthers football team, earning MVP honors his senior season. That's another hand clap. He attended Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee. After redshirting his freshman year, Butler became a prominent member of the Vanderbilt Commodores defense. There you go. Butler played 4 seasons for Vanderbilt, accumulating 113 total tackles, 10 sacks, 2 block passes, and 1 defensive touchdown. Butler signed with the New England Patriots as an undrafted free agent on May the 5th, 2017. After impressing in the Patriots training camp and preseason that summer, he earned a spot on the Patriots' 53rd man roster. He was active for the Patriots' regular season home opener, seeing 21 snaps and recording a tackle to a 42-27 loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Patriots made it to the Super Bowl number 52, but fell short to the Philadelphia Eagles by a score of 41-33. The Patriots made it back to the Super Bowl in 2019, where they defeated the Los Angeles Rams 13-3 in the Super Bowl number 53. He has roots here in Bethel, with his grandparents being Mr. B.T. and Miss Billy Gladney Adams, and his aunts, including Gloria Gladney Adams, Paulette Gladney Goring, and Miss, I can't get your name, Miss Jeannie Adams. I call her the face of another rehab. She is the face. So let's give a big old East Texas welcome to Mr. Adam Butler. And Mr. Eric Love, who will be moderating this event. He is a pastor of Church on Purpose in Longview, Texas. He is one of God's greatest preachers, God's greatest motivators. He is a good man altogether. He's also a facilitator here at Excellent Team Choice. So let's give a big welcome to both of these.
And welcome back to East Texas. Welcome back to East Texas. So listen, we all give Mr. Butler another round of applause. I think it's amazing that he's taking the time out of his schedule to come and hang out with us. Y'all, unfortunately, we only have one microphone, so we're going to do this a little bit different. I know that Adam has a lot of things that he wants to say. We had a chance to kind of talk a little bit before we got here today. And so I think that there's some things that he wants to share about his life, about his background. I think he's going to reach out to some of the young people. Everybody, any young people that play football, raise your hand. Football players, raise your hand. Y'all give all the football players a hand. Raise your hand. All the athletes in the room, raise your hand. If you're an athlete in the room, raise your hand. Look at all the athletes. Give the athletes a hand. All right, so Adam, just tell us a little bit about your background, where you came from, man, and how did you get here today?
So first off, I came here to talk to the younger generation. No offense to any of the adults here, but is there anybody here that has aspirations of going to the NFL? Anybody? What are y'all doing? Shouldn't y'all be in the front?
Yep.
Come on.
That's what you try to tell us.
I'm here for you. I don't care if it's 2, I don't care if it's 100. I'm here for you. No, I'm not trying to call y'all out. I'm here to let y'all know it's real. That's how hard it is. I wasn't drafted. I had to claw my way from the back to the front. You want to know where I sit when Bill Belichick talks? I sit right there. I sit in the front. In my defensive line room, I sit right there. But I'm still in the front. But anyway, so my bad, fellas. I ain't gonna call you out. I'm just telling you what's real. Anyway, so like he said, I'm from Dallas, Texas, but I was raised in East Texas culture. I know y'all feel me, but I was cornbread fed, as you can see. Okay. I love cream peas. I love mashed potatoes. I love macaroni and cheese. I love all that. This is really where I'm from. When people look at my bio, they see Dallas, but my heart is really here in East Texas. First of all, I want to give Sharon a big thank you for putting this thing together. Also, my mother, Kim Butler, my dad, Clarence Butler, my beautiful young aunt, Angela, for making this thing happen. And I really appreciate you guys and everything that y'all done to make this happen. Whatever y'all want to get from this is up to y'all. I want you to be like me. I want you to make money. I want you to be famous because it's in your blood. It is. So I started playing football when I was 7 years old. My dad introduced me to it. At first, I was a running back. I mean, I was killing it. I had to move, man. I heard you were a running back, right? Receiver, running back and wide receiver? What position do you play? Yeah, so see, I was like you, man. I was just like you. I mean, if you look at me, imagine you looking at yourself, because this is where you'll be. This is where both of y'all will be. If y'all just stick with it. But a little bit of adversity hit early on. Everybody knows that no pass, no play rule. So of course, I kept eating that cornbread, gained that weight. And then I moved from running back to linebacker. And I kept eating and gained even more weight. So I went from linebacker to offensive line. And that's when things really hit. That's when adversity really hit in my life. As y'all know, I love football. It's my passion, and it always has been. And my 7th and 8th grade year, those were some of the hardest years of my life. I mean, I came from a wonderful family. I'm blessed to have both mother and father in the household. But everybody has different cards that they get to play. And just because you come from a household that seems perfect, it doesn't mean you won't have adversity. And I did. And as much as I love football, I was struggling in school, and at the same time, I rode the bench for 2 years straight, 7th grade and 8th grade season. I mean, a lot of times I wonder what they think now, but I rode the bench for those 2 years, and I remember one game specifically. It was one of the prestigious schools in our district that we was playing. This was towards the end of the season, and my coach came. We were up in the first quarter. We were up 21-0. I mean, we got after them that quick. And my coach was like, "Brother, I'm gonna try to get you in. I'm gonna get you in." So, of course, I love the game. I'm ready. I'm hyped. I'm ready. Second quarter rolls around and they score. Still ain't put me in. Go in for halftime. Come back out. Be like, "Brother, I'm gonna try to get you in." They score again. Be like, "Hold on, wait. Just wait." I'm like, "Okay." So wait around. They score again. So now it's tied 21-21. And the same feeling that I got in my throat now is the same feeling that I had back then, despite all the success I had. But the feeling in my throat is different though. I taste success now. I taste success now. But back then I was so defeated. It's the third quarter, and I remember tears started rolling down my eyes. I took off my helmet, set it on the ground, took off my shoulder pads, set it on the ground. I walked out the field. And as I walked out the field, I was looking at my parents, and I could tell they were unhappy. And I went in the locker room and I just cried my eyes out because I was so defeated. I mean, I was in the lowest place of my life. I couldn't get any lower. Felt like, you know. And I gave up. Just being honest, I flat out quit. And I could hear people, you know, yelling. And I got up. I went outside to see what was going on. And it was those two people right there. And they were fighting for me. They were letting my coaches know he's a talented young man. And hearing that as a child, it does something to you. It lifts your spirit. You know, not everybody has that. But I'm sharing that story with you too, just in case that's what you're going through. And I'm letting you know that anything is possible as long as you believe in yourself. And as long as you listen to the people in your corner that's really in your corner, I'm not talking about fake friends. I'm not talking about temporary friends. I'm talking about people like those two people right there. Yeah, I grew up in the city, but there's one thing that I know about people in East Texas is that we loyal to each other. And we always have each other back. And we always, most importantly, we always keep God at the center of everything we do.
Oh, y'all get Adam another hand. Give him another hand. So I know that there may be somebody here today that's, you know, and you kind of told us where you came from. We really appreciate you staying solid with your roots. But how do you balance success with remaining humble? How do you do that? Because it seems like you found that balance of success and humility. So how do you do that?
I've gotten to a point as a professional where I have prioritized certain things in my life. I have an exercise that I want to conduct with anybody who wants to participate to really paint that picture for you. But in summary, basically I prioritize the things in my life. You know, you got family, you got friends, you got your faith, and all of it requires your attention. But, and you also have fame, like you mentioned. You got money, all of it requires your attention. But what I do is I take every day as a blessing from God, and I attack that day within and of itself. Whatever challenges come that day, I attack that day, because that's the only thing that matters. Tomorrow don't matter. Definitely what happened in the past doesn't matter. Yeah, very good.
You mentioned in junior high school, you took the helmet off, took the pads off, and you decided you were going to give up. What caused you to get back on the field? Because apparently you wind up getting back on the team or wind up going back. How did you make it from the point where you wanted to, well actually you had given up, you felt defeated, you were like, man, I'm through with this, threw it all down. How did you wind up picking the pads back up, picking the helmet back up, and when did you get back on the field?
So, to be honest, I actually quit twice.
Wow.
I did. After my parents fought for me, I transitioned to my freshman year of high school, and I mean, it was pretty much the same story. I saw all of my good friends who I still communicate with now, some in the NFL, some not. And I saw all of them, they were on varsity, meanwhile I was on the freshman team, basically riding the bench. So I just, and as much as I love football, and as many times as I told my parents that I was, going to play in the NFL one day, I felt defeated. And I realized to play in the NFL, you have to be the best of the best. You do. And at that time, it was a sudden realization. I felt like I wasn't the best of the best. So I went to my dad again and I said, Dad, look, I'm not getting nowhere with this. Like, I kept trying and it's going nowhere. And he said, son, quit. If you quit, you'll have to live with that decision the rest of your life. You're going to live the rest of your life wondering what your life could have been. Wondering how many Super Bowls you could have won. wondering if you could have been a Hall of Fame player. And he just inspired me to stay with it, and I appreciate that. My mother definitely did too. She did. She encouraged me along the way. And I really appreciate it.
Very good. Very good. So what do you say? You were very blessed, very fortunate to have two strong parents who were by your side and with you, coming to the games, cheering you on, even when the coach would put you in. You heard him on the sidelines saying, he's a good athlete. Y'all need to get him in. What do you say to the young men or women in this room who don't have that mom and dad stand on the chain link fence saying, put my baby in, put my son in, he's better than that, he's good, or she's better than that, she's good. What do you say to them, when they're on the bench, they're not getting any playing time, and then at the end of the game, nobody is on the chain link fence screaming their name?
So, I mean, I could tell them what they want to hear, but I'm going to tell them what they need to hear. As a professional athlete, like I said before, you have to be the best of the best. If you're not passionate about something, you might as well not do it. If you really love it, and you really put all your effort and all your focus in it, then yes, go for it. If you don't have what I had, you got to get to a place you have to be a professional before you're actually a professional. Because as a professional, I did the Kansas City game right before the Superbowl this year, as an example. That was the most amount of people I've ever seen in my life. And that was one of the loudest stadiums that I ever played in. And regardless of what was happening off the field, which I had some adversity off the field this past year too, a little bit, but regardless of what was happening off the field, regardless if I had any family members I wasn't getting along with, this is not my story, but if my father wasn't in my life. Regardless, as a professional, I had to get to a place where I tuned out everything else, because nothing else mattered except that game. That was it. When you're going through, as a professional, when you're going through adversity on and off the field, you gotta tune that out, and you gotta live in the moment. And as I said before, you gotta take every challenge day by day. So if you're dealing with something off the field, and it can wait, it can wait.
Very good. Very good. And just before, because we want to see this exercise that you want to do with the kids. Just before that, let's transition slightly. What has it been like being around all the stars and what was it like going from Dallas to Vanderbilt now you're in the NFL? What was that transition like, and how did you handle that transition? Because it was almost like you became a star overnight. So how did you handle that transition, and how would you encourage young people who may end up in that same situation? What wisdom can you give to them if they someday make that same transition?
The most important part of that transition, like you said high school to college, you said college to pro. The most important part of that transition, and I think everybody in here would agree with me for the most part. I know the younger generation probably differs a little bit, but the most important part was my education. It really was, because having that experience at Vanderbilt taught me how to be a professional. And being a minority, it taught me how to have poise in the midst of a crowd that is not a minority, if that makes sense. But walking into the pros wasn't my first experience with that. So, being at Vanderbilt with people that prestigious, that gave me the opportunity to warm up to that level of professionalism, and it taught me how to conduct myself in the pros. I mean, we have countless people that I know everybody in here can name that was not ready for professionalism. And even as good as they were, you found out soon that the NFL really does stand for not for long. It really does. You can take, let me see, Ray Rice, for example, there's a certain level of professionalism that you have to maintain. There's certain things that college taught me. College taught me that, as well as my father and my mother, college taught me, no matter how mad you get, you have to conduct yourself in the right way. You know, you have to get to the point as a man. You have to get to the point to where you just walk away from stuff. And as men, we don't always admit it, but we have issues with pride. We do, and sometimes our pride can get the best of us. But fortunately, I had someone like my father to teach me, you know, hold your tongue. You know, keep your poise. I mean, I'm really thankful for that. And if there's anybody in here that doesn't have that, take it from me. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you.
Very good. Y'all give that for him. Very good. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a few questions from the audience. So I want you guys to be thinking about a question that you may have. I'll allow you to raise your hand. I'll come to you and we'll listen to your question and we'll yell it back on the stage because unfortunately we have one microphone so that Adam can hear and he can respond to your question. But just before we take your question, I want to see this exercise. So you want to set that up for?
So I just need a volunteer. I just need one. Sorry. My man, I like that. I like that. Let's start taking it easy. What's going on? What's your name, man? Jay. Jay. Nice to meet you, man. You have okay, I want you to stand right over here. Okay, so before we start this exercise, I want you to hold this ball. This ball right here. Listen to me. This is the most important ball that I'm going to give you. Don't drop it. Don't let nothing happen. Don't let me take it from you. Hold it and guard it with your life. Okay? As I said earlier, education was arguably the most important part of my career. And I know that you're finna enter that chapter. You know, you're finna take do you want to take your education to a higher level? You want to go to college? That's good. That's good. Here, hold that. So, this is one of the things that happens that you have to deal with in your transition to becoming an NFL player. So, hold that. Being a young person, this is one of the main things that, you know, we like to get into. What does that say?
Left foot point.
No, this. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Relationship.
Yeah, relationship. So, as a young person in life, you got education, you know, that you're trying to deal with, and you also have relationships. You know, you got a girlfriend? No, he said, no, you ain't got that. Don't feel bad, I don't need it. So this is another thing I want you to hold it. You gotta maintain it. I mean, it's part of life. This is one of those things you gotta hold on to. One day you want to become a man, don't you? Right? This is really what all men are held to. What does it say?
Job.
Job. One day you're gonna have a job, right? Usually with a job comes what?
Family.
Yeah, that's right. So that's the oh my goodness. What happened? What happened? You can't lose your job, man. You gotta hold on to your job, man. You gotta hold on to it, man. Let me see. Let me find a good one. Oh, okay, here we go. This is a good one. This is why we're here, right? You want to be in the NFL, right? I think you can do it, man. You got good charisma. So this one says what?
Sports.
It says sports. I mean, I didn't know if you played basketball or football, but obviously you play football. So hold on to that. Huh? There you go. There you go. This one right here, this is real important. This is real important. does it say?
Faith.
Faith, right? Keep God in the center of everything. That's right. You got to hold on to it. To be honest, without this, really don't none of the rest of it matter. But hold on to it. Hold on to it. I got you. I'll give you one more. Can you make it? Can you make one more? Okay. He said he can make one more. I'm gonna give you a big one. Big one. That's kind of big. That ain't big enough. Hold on. This is a big one right here. Yeah. Now, with a job, usually comes what?
Family.
And a relationship usually comes what?
Family.
And it's one of these things, when you, an NFL player, everything that you got in your hand is something you're going to have to deal with, right? And here, hold that. Use your chin, come on, it's something. And when you're a man, you got to do what you got to do to make things work. Now, you see what that says over there? That says goals, doesn't it? So with each one of these things, you got education. I'm trying to move faster because I know your arms probably not. You got education, you got sports, you got family, right? You got faith. And you got to make time for all these things, right? In your walk of life. So you're carrying all these things and walk for me towards the goal. You're carrying all these things. This is your walk of life, right? See, you can't let it go. You good. That's okay. Keep walking. Keep walking. So you're walking towards the goal, right? There you go. There you go. Good job. All right. Y'all give my hands up. Good job. So does anybody know what this bar represents? I didn't say it, but there's a purpose as to why I didn't say what this bar represents. Who said? Say it again. Dreams. The dreams. That's what this ball represents. That's why I told you to guard it with what? Guard it with your life. Don't let nobody take it away from you. And to be honest, as long as you got breath in your body, should nobody be able to take it from you. There's a lot of things in this world. You see this chain I got on right here? Somebody can walk right up to me and snatch this off my head. The one thing they will not take away from me is my dream. As long as you keep that at your center of focus, you're going to make it a long way, my man. Seriously. And with a good education, you're going to make it far, man. Just keep working. Give me a hand.
Come on, y'all, let's give it one more time. I got to use that illustration. That was really good. Yeah, really good illustration. Yeah, along this line, you may have to drop some things, but don't drop your dreams. So that's very good. And I hope that the young people in the room are. Matter of fact, I'm encouraged too. Yes, I think all of us can receive some encouragement from that. So we have a few more minutes. So for the next few minutes that we have, we want to hear some of your questions. Adam is here to not only for us to have a conversation, but he wants to have a conversation with you guys as well. So raise your hand if you have a question that you would like to ask. Raise your hand. Okay, we got one question over here. I'm just going to give you the microphone and we'll just yell back. Okay. All right. A man right here, stand up and ask your question.
So if you weren't playing in the NFL, what would you be doing?
So is this from the standpoint that I've already been in the NFL or if I've never made it? Okay, so if I never made it, rest assured, I had a good relationship with Vice Chancellor Williams, who just died. I believe it was this past spring, if I'm not mistaken, not too long after the Superbowl. But I had asked him that if I couldn't, or if I didn't make it in the NFL, could I come back and shadow him to gain some experience, because I wanted to become an athletic director.
Stand up and yell your question out. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I wanted to know, what did you go to college for?
So I went to college not knowing what I wanted to do, but that's okay.
Repeat the question you're about to hear.
Oh, she said, what did I go to college for, right? Good. So what I wound up studying was environmental science and also communication studies. Which is basically a dual degree, but to formally give this title, it's an interdisciplinary study. So, so the reason why I picked environmental science was I took a class, I took an elective called Introduction to Volcanoes and Human History, and the class taught me basically how the Earth was formed, and it actually has a little bit of the element to the Bible in it that almost proves the existence of God, but that's another topic for a different time. And then I realized throughout my journey through college that a lot of minorities don't have exposure to that level of prestige. And the only way that I could do something about it was to figure out how to effectively communicate it to other people. So that's why I added communication studies onto my degree plan, so that I can figure out how to communicate effectively to other people, so that I could give them that experience the best I could.
Where's that green?
Oh, yeah, you got it?
Hey, I always saw him on television. I want to see one in person.
That's a go read for real.
Thank you. Yeah. This is the biggest Super Bowl ring in the world. It has 422 diamonds in it. You know what? I need to look at the appraisal. Yeah, there's 422 diamonds in this thing. Yeah, 10 and 10 sapphires. I didn't know the word this time.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. She said, what is my plan after the NFL? Well, thank goodness, after being in the NFL for 2 years, I have gained some financial capital. So, and yes, I save my money. For anybody who's wondering, I definitely save my money. I don't just blow it. But, I mean, I like nice things. But I plan to invest it in a great way. I also plan to maybe open up a few businesses. I'm not exactly sure. Like I said before, I tackle every day in and of itself with its own challenges. But if all else fails, I will definitely invest it. And then if that doesn't go good, then I will 100% go back to school.
Okay, Mr. Trainer, we got one in the back. Go ahead.
Oh, quick question. Okay, you said you didn't have a girlfriend. Now, you know I'm unavailable because I got
That's right.
Anyway, one of the things Excellent Teen Choice focuses on is abstinence. And I have a few friends in the NFL, and they always talk about how the women come after you.
It's a trick. I'm telling you.
Okay, talk about that a little bit.
Well, I think abstinence is very important. I know that it's very difficult. I want to be honest about it. But if you lose your sense of abstinence, wrap it up. I'm just gonna be real. I mean, that's as good as I can put it. Because one of those balls family, and I'm sure every adult in here can tell you the family's expensive. Don't wrap it up, you wind up with a baby and it's gonna cost you. That's as simple as I can put it. That's the best I can do. Because I mean, just being real, no knock on y'all, but temptation nowadays is a lot harder than it was back then. I'm just being real, because now you don't have to go out to find it. It comes to you. You got it at your fingertips. I can scroll on Instagram and open my inbox and shorty, she in there waiting for me. I mean, just being real. That's what it is. But fellas, if all else fails, if you break your sense of abstinence, wrap it up. And don't take it off.
Yes, ma'am. Back here in the back. Yes, ma'am.
Hi. What coach at what level has been most influential in your life?
Well, she said, what coach at what level has been most influential in my life? So, that's a good question. During my transition, I actually moved. I was in the Mansfield School District at first, and then I moved to the Duncanville School District and wound up going to Duncanville High School. His name is Coach Jevidakis. He is now the head coach at a Christian school just south of Austin. He actually wanted me to come down and talk to his students. So when I tell you that man and his coaching staff groomed me into being a professional, they groomed me. They taught me how to work. They taught me how to eat, sleep. They taught me how to outwork the man next to me. Okay, because that's the thing in the NFL is that every year new people are coming to take your job. I mean, I'm fighting right now. Right now, at this very moment. I mean, I won a Super Bowl, but I'm still fighting for my job. But I can be out the door just like that. If I ever get complacent, if I ever, get sidetracked. But him and his staff definitely instilled in me never to get complacent, and still to this day, when I'm working out with the rest of the guys, when we running, I'm looking left and I'm looking right to make sure I'm the first person to finish. To make sure that I'm at least in the front. You can't win all of them, but I'll die trying.
Any other questions, especially from our young people? Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. You have another one? That's fine. Yes, ma'am. We're ready.
Hi, and I was going to ask you, was the New England Patriots your first choice?
Was the New England Patriots my first choice? To be honest, I really didn't have very many choices. I didn't. I had like 2 or 3 teams, and one of them I really felt like was going slow, and that was the Los Angeles Rams. Isn't that funny? It's very funny. But yeah, I didn't have that many choices.
Very good. Very good. Anybody else? Another question? You better ask him now. Because when he gets on the plane, you may not see him again until you see him on TV again. You had another question? Yes, ma'am.
I was going to go, what's love got to do with it? We are loving family. And you have so much love for another person now. Did that affect your success?
It definitely does. It definitely does. When I'm out there and I'm busting my tail and that fatigue starts to set in, I think about y'all and I think about the people that support me. And that causes me to get back up every time. Every time I put them down, I feel your prayer. I feel my grandmother's prayer. I feel my mother's prayer. I feel everybody's prayer. I feel all of that love. Believe that. The very fact that y'all here today says how much that y'all care about me. I appreciate it. have been the most influential in my life, and I can sit down and have dinner with those three, I would say that that's not fair. Because I've got too many people. I really do. East Texas is such a village. It really is. And I mean, I have so many people in my life to be thankful for. If I had to choose, I would pick both my parents, and I'd pick Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Let's do one last thing.
I want to do one last thing. All of the young people, all the teenagers in this room, I want you guys to come up and just stand right here in front. And I'm going to allow Adam just to speak into your lives. When you're in the company of someone who has reached his level of acclaim, that's not something that we take lightly. So all the teenagers, all the young people, boy and girl, I want y'all just to come up and I want y'all just to stand here. And I want him just to pour into y'all's heart. He has been where you guys are. He's gone through so much in his life. He's accomplished so much in his life. And for a professional NFL player to take time out of his so busy schedule to come all the way to Carthage, Texas, just to be here, man, listen, that's y'all, you don't understand what that means to the city. What that should mean to us. There are some NFL players would not pick up, they wouldn't answer the phone if they received a 913 phone call. But Adam Butler, I'm so thankful for him and just his genuine spirit. Again, we got a chance to talk a little bit before the interview that we're having right now, and I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed just to be in his presence. I can look at his eyes and tell he's sincere, he's serious about what he's doing, and he's a professional. Will y'all give a true professional a round of applause? It does not yet appear. Yeah, y'all come down this way. Come down this way, y'all just kind of stand. I need all the tall guys behind and all the short people up front. Y'all come on. Yeah, y'all figure it out. Yeah, my man, he moving everybody back, man. I'm sure he moving everybody back. Yes, y'all come on down. I just want Adam to speak to y'all because y'all be able to Google him tonight. You'll be able to go to his Instagram. I don't know if he's got any other. I saw his Instagram page. We get a chance to go and just kind of see him and follow his life and go Google him. Look at some of the interviews that he's had, some of the things that he's done, and you'll be impressed with his life. So just kind of show your heart, and then we'll get ready to transition.
We'll do. I really came here to speak to you guys. I really did. Because at one position or at one point in my life, I was in your position. I was. I mean, I don't know how you feel right now about where you're at. I know you want to go to the league. I believe you'll make it. I believe all of you will make it. But there's about 4 things that I want y'all to remember. And I want you to take away from today. I want you to always remember, no matter what, don't never give up. I'm telling you, seriously, if I would have gave up, if my mother would have let me give up, would I be standing here? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be standing here with the Superbowl ring that I have, the AFC Championship ring that I have. All of the accomplishments that I made in my life was because I didn't give up. So I'm telling you, I know it's tough, and I know it's hard growing up in a society where society tells you that because your skin is darker, that you're less of a person. Don't listen to it. Never give up. You are strong. Number 2, remember that sacrifice breeds success. Seriously, sacrifice breeds success. I know everybody wants to be cool. I know everybody wants the Jordans. They want the chain. They want all the good stuff. But I'm telling you, if you reprogram your mind and you sacrifice what you want now for what you need now, you'll be successful. Some of the friends that you want to impress, I'm telling you, I've been through high school. I've been through middle school. I don't talk to none of them. As much as I thought they were my friends, I don't talk to any of them. I mean, except for a couple football players, because football is football. We brothers forever. But as far as the people that I felt pressure to impress back then, I'm telling you, don't do it. Because it takes one bad decision to turn your whole life around. tell you a story. When I was at Vanderbilt, this was my sophomore year. There were three African American boys. It didn't take long. It didn't take long at all. It didn't take long. It didn't take long at all. So they went out one night. They went out partying. They were drinking, having a great time. And there was another guy who had just came in maybe a week earlier. And my belief is that he spiked a couple of people's drinks. That's my belief. Now, I'm not a judge, I'm not a jury. The case is over, but that's my belief, because I was actually there. I was there at Vanderbilt when this happened, and I knew all of them personally. So the next morning, we woke up, and we found out from the head coach that a girl had been raped in the dorm. Not only had she been raped, she was Caucasian, and they were African American. Now, most of the adults will tell you, whether they did something or not, you are guilty until proven innocent. I know the law says you're innocent until proven guilty, but I'm telling you, as an adult in a professional position, you are guilty until proven innocent. But those three boys, all three of them are in jail. One of them's doing 15, is it 15 to 20? And the other two are doing, I don't know, maybe 10 to 12, for something that they may or may not have even done. All because of peer pressure. You know, they long for that college experience so bad that they got outside of what they were really there to do. They were really there to get an education, and they were really there to play football. And just that one night, that one mistake, cost them the rest of their life. So now for the rest of their life, whether they rape the girl or not, they're registered sex offenders. And they have no chance. But the best part about that is each and every one of you right here have a chance to be great. And you've got a village of people behind you. Whether you feel it or not, you have people that love you. And you have people that care about you. You are great. You are strong. Maximize it. And don't give in to peer pressure. I'm telling you, that's the number one killer of all athletes. It's peer pressure. They think they gotta keep up with everybody, that's why they go broke. They think they gotta be cool, they think they gotta be lavish, and at the end of the day, they have nothing, and nobody's talking about it anymore. Stay focused. Let me see. I have one more thing. Be the best you. That was my final thing. Be the best you. If you think about Oprah Winfrey, you think about Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry was sleeping in his car at one point. It don't get too much worse than that. That's bad. He was sleeping in his car, and now he's a billionaire. Not because he is any more special than anybody in this room, but because he's the best him. You got to be, there's a million, matter of fact, over a million. There's hundreds of millions of receivers right now coming to take your spot. The spot that's really destined for you. All you have to do is be the best you. You don't have to be nobody else. You don't have to be Randy Moss. Just like I don't have to be Aaron Donald. You feel me? You don't have to be Adrian Peterson. You have to be you. And once you're the best you, can't nobody stop you. That's the truth. That's the truth. And you know how you've become the best you? You got to know yourself. Know what you struggle with. I struggle with eating. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I love to eat. I'm serious. I struggle with it. And I know that if you put certain things in front of me, I ain't gonna make it. Seriously, I'm not gonna make it. If me mom go home right now and she cook for me, I'm not gonna make it. Seriously. I'm gonna go, it's just gonna send me in a downward spiral. I know myself. So I have to discipline myself. If you struggle with social media, stay away from it. Limit yourself with it. If you struggle with females, limit yourself with it. Ladies, if you struggle with your image, relax. It's okay. You got time for that. But be your best you. And stay disciplined. Discipline, sacrifice breeds success. I'm telling you, on those nights, I had plenty of nights in college, and you got to get to this level. I had plenty of nights in college where plenty of my teammates wanted to go out and party, and they were out till 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. But at 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, I was on the field hitting bags, working on my footwork. Seriously, that's what it takes. Being undrafted, you have to do that. You can't not do that. If you don't do that, they're going to surpass you. And in the NFL, I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've been through 2 training camps right now. Anytime I make a relationship with somebody or anytime I get close to somebody, the next day they're gone. I don't know what it is, but the business is that cutthroat. I'm telling you, that's how good you have to be on your P's and Q's. And I thank God that I'm still in it. I really do. I'm serious. They will cut you in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. One bad practice, one mistake, one phone call. Wrong thing in the media, wrong place, wrong time. As unfortunate as it is. That's all it takes. But all in all, never quit, discipline, breeds success, be the best you. That's all I got for you.
Come on, everybody, give it up one more time. Okay, young people, have y'all ever shook hands with a professional NFL football player? Y'all ever shook hands with one? You maybe you have. Yeah, y'all related to him or something, right? Okay. Yeah, we have. So listen, I want y'all to carefully come up these steps. I want y'all just to come and shake his hand, because I want y'all to know he's touchable, he's approachable, he's a human just like we are. Yeah, so y'all just come up the steps. Just come up and y'all just follow them up. Y'all going to come this way. And as they're coming, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Miss Sharon Jones. Will y'all give Miss Sharon a hand? She is the founder, facilitator, excellent team choice, and she's done a great job putting all this together. So again, we want you guys to, I think Adam, she's going to give you further instructions on what's going to happen after we dismiss. Y'all give them another, give all the young people like that. She's going to say,
Miss Gloria and Miss Paulette, can you come on up to the stage? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Butler, for coming all the way to Carthage, Texas, the biggest little town in Texas. All right? We have a few presentations to make, and thank you, parents, and for all of you all who have made this possible. And hopefully, when we do this again, that we have just as many people here. Next week, we will be honoring the WBL. And Mr. Butler, I don't know if you knew, that's Peggy Pope out in the audience. She's one of the Hall of Famers in the Women's Basketball League. Yes. And she's also coaching the WNBA as well. So we'll be hearing from her and three other Hall of Famers next week. Okay, Ms. Paulette.
I'm here to present this Carthage Bulldog t-shirt, no Bama, to Miss Angela Buchanan. This is a state champion Carthage Bulldog shirt for you. And Sharon asked me, was that the right size? And I'm like, oh yeah. She's a diva, so she'll make it work.
I'm sorry, I'm doing this all wrong. Happy anniversary, Mima and Papa. Happy 59. Right? 59 years. All right.
On behalf of Excellent Team's Choice, I'd like to present Billy and B.T. Adams, the Booster Award from Carthage High School. I'm sorry. If y'all can hear me, I say it again. On behalf of Excellent Team Choice, I'd like to present this Booster Award to Billy and B.T. Adams. On behalf of Carthage High School. And also, Billy gets a shirt.
Sharon, this is for you, for being a great host to me and my folks, and for putting this together. We really thank you.
And for you, Mr. Butler, we have something. Of course. We know you went to New England and you graduated from Duncanville and your folks are in Beckville, but you are now Carthage Bulldog. Championship camp. And to you, you are our most valuable player. Okay, thank you. Okay, I believe that's it. We do have door prizes. Thank you, Savannah, and thank you, AJ, and Mr. Love. And to the Blackley sisters, we've been meeting and trying to make this a success, trying to offer things to the students. And Mr. Butler has been so gracious in signing autographs on footballs and on everything so that you can have a day to remember. Ms. Lorena is coming up quickly. And we also have lunch provided. We have Pivot Sports. They have donated 2 regulation footballs for us. So that will be a door prize. Mr. Adam has already signed them. So you'll have an autographed football from him as well. So, and we have Cricket Wireless. Now, I'm with Verizon, but